We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions edition. Oh, sweater vest edition here on the Carolina Insider. After Carolina gets the 86-76 win over NC State, I'm Jones. That's Adam. You'll hear from former Tar Heel assistant C.B. McGrath in just a few minutes as well. But Adam, another quality offensive performance from Carolina. They were coming off their best half of the season offensively against Wake Forest as far as shooting percentage. They shot, I think it was right around 55% in the second half against the Deacs. They followed up by shooting 54% for the entire game against NC State and get the 10-point win, an impressive performance.
I hope C.B. McGrath will be with us. He's frantically running down to Franklin Street to get a sweater vest. Hopefully he'll make it back in time for his segment. Good performance by the Tar Heels, especially good they were able to do it in the first half. Carolina came into this game having been outscored by 22 points cumulatively in the first half. They played much better in this first half, had their most efficient first half offensively of the entire season, able to carry it over through the second half and survive some late game turnovers to hold on for what feels like an important 10-point win.
We're going to get to those three rapid reactions from Adam in just a second, but one of them will not be turnovers, but I did think turnovers were important. Carolina had just 5 turnovers in the first half. They ended up with 8 in the second half, and I think you just saw that if Carolina can protect the basketball, how good that it can be offensively.
Well, and I think what's even more encouraging is the turnovers are going down as the pace is going up. You see that? Down, up. Pace is going up. Carolina's getting closer to playing the way that Roy Williams wants them to play. Much more efficient in the up-tempo game than they were even, say, 3 weeks ago. And they're doing it while making better decisions, taking a little better care of the ball. There's still progress to be made in that area, but it's significantly better than it was at the start of ACC play. All
right, this, of course, is called the Rapid Reactions edition of Carolina Insider. So let's get to it and check out Adam's Rapid Reactions. Against just about everybody they play, the Tar Heels are going to have an advantage in the paint, Adam, and they really used that advantage to their advantage today, particularly Armando Bacot and Day'Ron Sharpe with big games.
Yeah, and just as you just said, I thought an encouraging thing was Carolina was able to control the paint, even with Garrison Brooks not having one of his best performances. But, man, Armando Bacot just continues to put the ball in the basket, finishes with 17 points. He also got 8 rebounds. He made 8 of his 12 baskets. That's one of my favorite plays of the game right there. That rebound by Day'Ron Sharpe, sort of around DJ Funderburk, that was a manly offensive rebound. That's like the kind Jones used to get in the intramural league.
You know, I thought Coach Williams, and we're going to hear Coach Williams' press conference coming up in just a second, I thought he used a great word to define why Armando has taken a step forward this year, and he said simplify. He just gets the ball, he makes a quick decision and a strong move, and he's very good at using his body to get a relatively uncontested shot because he's banged the guy out of the way.
And teams haven't figured out how to defend him yet. We're almost halfway into ACC play, and he's just continuing to do it. I think that really speaks well to the work he put in the offseason.
All right, now let's go back to the backcourt for the second of the rapid reactions. And, Adam, that's Caleb Love, who not quite as efficient as the last time against Wake Forest, but still some big moments for Caleb today.
I still thought he looked better. 15 points, 5 assists. We'll quietly mention he also did have 5 turnovers, but I thought the way he controlled the pace of the game was important and more like what Roy Williams wants from his point guard. Multiple times, Love scored within seconds after State either taking a shot or scoring, and that's when you know Carolina's really playing at the pace that Roy Williams wants them to play.
Point 3, Adam, he only played 11 minutes, but Anthony Harris scored 10 points in this game. Effective on the defensive side as he normally is. Had one of the bigger plays of the game late with a key offensive rebound and put back. Just good things seem to happen when Anthony Harris is on the court.
Anthony Harris scores 10. Carolina wins by 10. There's your difference from the game in Raleigh and the game in which he didn't play. He just does all the things the team needs him to do. Here you see him making a three-pointer. I don't think that's his game, but he's now made 2. So I still think that's going to be a bonus when he does it. This is the kind of thing he's going to do most often as he's in the right place. That was a huge offensive rebound. You're also going to see him a little later in the show. I think C.B. McGrath got a little breakdown of another big Anthony Harris play that shows exactly what he brings to this team.
Adam, before we get to Coach Williams' press conference, Carolina has that ability on the perimeter. That trio, if they have Love, Harris, and Black together in the game, that's a pretty darn good defensive trio on the perimeter should they need that in a particular game.
And I think Harris gives you the opportunity to have more than just one really good perimeter defender. Because you know Leaky Black's good, and he, by the way, kind of quietly did a pretty good job on Devin Daniels, who was really good when Black was out. But then when Black was in, and Daniels did score 21, most of those were against someone other than Black. He went a long stretch of the second half without scoring because Roy Williams put Black on Daniels and said, you take care of that, and he did. And you've also got Anthony Harris. If Black's in foul trouble or just otherwise unproductive, you got another defensive piece to move around. Always helpful to have that kind of interchangeable personnel.
Daniels took just 3 of State's last 19 shots in the last 11 and a half minutes, despite the fact that he was the leading scorer for the Pack tonight with more than 20 points. All right, Coach Williams met with the media after this 10-point Tar Heel win. Let's get to that. We'll go from there. Adam, who'd you talk to player-wise today?
Our best friend, Anthony Harris.
All right, so you're going to hear from Anthony Harris as well. So Coach Williams, then Anthony Harris, then we're bringing CB McGrath in to break down some big plays here on the Carolina Insider.
To the win.
I feel great. I mean, we've lost a bunch of them this year as well, so I do feel great about it. Several things. I think our inside game was really good in the first half. The second half, I think they outscored us probably from the inside than we did. They got it down to 6, and I don't usually even look at the score until the last 4 or 5 minutes. But I think during that time period there is when Kerwin Walton made 2 big threes for us, and he had really struggled up until that point of the game. But I thought those 2 threes were huge for us. We've been a good free throw shooting team in practice all the time. I put pressure on them every day, and they make almost all of them kind of thing. But we didn't make many of them today, 8 for 18 from a free throw line, and one of them I know was a 1-and-1, and could have been 2 of them, but I know one of them was. But I think our work on the backboards was big. I was happy with Dayron going 16 and 10. Mondo 8 for 12 from the floor. We shot over 50% in the first half and the second half. The first time all year that we've done that, but it was balanced scoring for us. I think that was big, what we got off the bench. Daniels was a load for us today, and Manny and Funderburk, Funderburk had 14, Manny had 10, and they had 100 blocks between them. So it's a difficult time to play those guys as much as we try to go inside. But feel good about the W. And again, I loved how much our bench gave us coming in the game and scoring, not just doing the other things.
Bridget.
Coach, you talked about your bench there, but also 4 of your 5 double-figure scorers were freshmen. Did you see the freshmen, take a step forward today in today's game, and overall, what are your thoughts on their play?
Well, I think a couple of things. I told him at one time out we've had 60 practices. We've had 14 games. So I think at that time there should no longer be freshmen. They've played a ton of games. We've had a ton of practices, but they're still going to screw it up and make mistakes that freshmen make. But I love our freshmen. It's as good a class as I've ever brought in my life, and especially when you add Anthony Harris to it, coming off the bench and going 4 for 5 and getting 2 points. He didn't play that many. 10 minutes, 10 points. All right, maybe I should play him 40 next time. But so I think they're really doing some really, really nice things. The tough thing for our freshmen is I just expect much more of them, because I think we have that ability there. We've just got to get our brain and our heart involved and not just our ability.
The last 3 halves, going back to the second half the other night, 12 of 99 field goal attempts have been threes. Are you pleased with more concerted effort to get the ball inside?
Yeah, but Andrew, I'll answer the same way. I like a balance. I'm not against guys shooting it. I have to get on Kerwin Walton more than anybody because he's never ready to shoot. I'd like him to get more shots up, and I'm biased. There's no question. The guys who make more threes, I want them to shoot more threes. Dayron even made a jump shot today. It wasn't a 3, but he made a jump shot today. But, no, I love balance, guys. Again, shooting the ball inside is something that should be important for us because we have 4 guys that I have confidence in. And they've been good shooters. And, again, 8 for 12 and 8 for 13 with the 2 guys that did the best work today. It's something I think is important because it does have a chance to get the other guys in foul trouble. And the bad news is we never got them in foul trouble today. We were the ones that were in foul trouble.
Deanna King.
Hey, Coach, another great outing for Caleb. Is his confidence growing with each game?
Well, Caleb's sitting in the back of the room. I don't think he would classify it as great because you got to be a point guard. You shouldn't have 5 assists and 5 turnovers. But Caleb is getting better. He's getting better every day in practice. Life's not easy in the ACC as a freshman. And some guys adapt quicker than others, but life is not easy. But I think he was important to us today, to say the least. And he and RJ, I mean, you look there, that's 15 and 15 to 10. That's 25 points, 8 assists. The tough thing is 7 turnovers between the two of them. But the best thing to me is that I think their defensive grades are getting better. And you ask about Caleb, and I'll tell you, I think Caleb could be as good defensively as any point guard that I've ever coached. But he's got to do it. It doesn't make any difference whether I say it. He has to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Smith.
Hey, Roy, the way Armando continues to play and today with, the finishes around the rim with either hand and just kind of the strength, with what you asked him to do coming into the season and as far as the improvements you wanted him to make, I mean, are you happy to see that that's happening? And I know you're never satisfied, but it looks like he really continues to do what you guys asked him to do.
He's getting better. There's no question about that, and I do enjoy watching a guy do that. And I'll give you an example, though, late in the second half where he comes in there going and spinning around and all of a sudden shoots his jump hook from 6 feet and it goes 4. That's the kind of thing that we talked about all off season is simplifying. You don't have to do all those spins. But seriously, he had a jump hook from 6 feet and shot it just 4 feet. He's done a great job of simplifying and taking better shots. And I think, again, today 8 for 12. The last game I think he was 8 for 10. That's the kind of production, the efficiency that we've got to have. And I think that he is getting better. I'm always on Armando. I'm always on Dayron. I'm always on Caleb. That's not going to stop until the day I die. And even after I die, they'll have nightmares about me, so it's probably never going to stop. Dayron will. I know.
Roy, can I just elaborate on, what you've liked from the big men and their production today? And if that's, I mean, you talk about balance, but did you really enjoy what Baycott and Sharp and Garrison were able to do?
I felt badly because right before the half, I wanted to use a foul. I didn't necessarily want it to be Garrison, and I did a poor job of communicating because I yelled Garrison, we're going to foul, and I was pointing at Andrew, and he didn't get the word to Andrew, and so he makes that foul right before the half, or he would have gone into the second half with 0 fouls. Now it ends up that he ends up fouling out, but Garrison he's the leader out there. He settles everybody down, and everybody trusts him and respects him so much. But, yeah, Armando, Garrison, Dayron, Walker, Kessler, they're all going to be big-time players. But like I said earlier, we want them to be big-time while I'm still alive. I think that a big guy, the way we get you the ball, should shoot over 50%. And we've had somebody, Brandon Wright shot 66% as a freshman. Tyler Hansbrough shot over 55 4 straight years. And so we do talk about field goal percentage because we're going to get you the ball in good spots. And as you work on your jump shot and improve on your jump shot, Tyler Hansbrough shot jump shots, just like Luke May did. And but the biggest thing I ask for our big guys is to post up, be aggressive, get their other guys in foul trouble, rebound the ball, but also protect the rim. And we didn't have we had 4 block shots today, but, Manny lives blocking shots. He had 7, so Manny outnumbered us on the block shots.
Joined now by Anthony Harris after a 10-point performance off the bench in Carolina's win over NC State. Anthony, been a long road back for you. What was it like to be able to contribute so heavily to a big ACC win?
It always feels good to help your team win. Still trying to get back in shape. Just doing everything I can to just boost my team's spirits when we need a little extra boost.
How do you think you provide that boost? It feels like you're always doing something the team needs, whatever that turns out to be.
I feel like I'm pretty much in a decent spot on defense most of the time. Gives me a little advantage over my opponent, and then just being able to communicate with the guys, letting them know where I am, and just being able to be on the same page helps a lot.
Talking about defensively, I know you weren't a part of that defensive effort in Raleigh, but Roy Williams wasn't a big fan of that defensive performance against State the first time. What were the points of emphasis defensively going into this game?
Pretty much, coach just stressed us to stay in front of our man, just don't get beat on the straight line drives, and just be able to see everything that's going on and talk to your teammates.
Can you walk us through the play when you were under the basket and got the offensive rebound in the big basket there late in the last couple minutes?
Offensive rebound. Just like I said earlier, I feel like I worked to get in the right spots. I was able to get my forearm on the defender's back and grab the rebound.
What's been the toughest part for you over the last year?
Pretty much just not being able to be as competitive as I'd like to be. Just getting up and down, just experimenting. I did learn a lot by watching, but it was really tough to not be able to just get after people.
What did you learn by watching?
I learned a lot of stuff by watching. Just principles. Just me being over on the sideline, it gave me a different view of everything. So me not being on the court, it just kind of helps my mental.
It was noticeable that even before you came back to playing, you were always talking to your teammates on the sideline. Whenever somebody checked out of the game, you'd have something to say to them, something you had noticed. What were you trying to contribute when you weren't able to play?
Just like I said, I have a different view of the game than the people that are on the court. So whatever I see, I try to let my teammates know as soon as possible.
What's going right with this Carolina team offensively right now? The last 4 or 5 games, offense has been much more efficient.
I feel like everybody's confidence has grown. We're hitting shots, knocking down shots. Everybody's finding an open man, just moving on offense, making things a lot easier.
Carolina's played really well at home, hasn't lost at the Smith Center, but now you got to go on the road again where things have been tougher. What do you have to do to carry over the success at home onto the road in the ACC?
We just need to lock in. Everybody needs to communicate. Like I said, just do everything you can to put your team in a position to win.
That's Anthony Harris, 10 points off the bench as Carolina beats NC State by, not a coincidence, 10 points. Anthony, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate Anthony Harris's time. Also glad you got a chance to hear from Coach Williams after Carolina's 10-point win over NC State. Adam and I have talked enough. Let's bring in our expert, our insider breakdown with CB McGrath.
Thanks, Jones. I did not get the sweater vest. Did not have time to get the sweater vest. There's certain things when you play NC State that you have to really get prepared for, and one is ball screens. They're going to set ball screens every single time down the court. The communication on the ball screens between the bigs and the littles are very important, and we'll diagram some of that. And also, they pressure a lot, so you have to attack their pressure by getting it inside or to the lane, try and force some turnovers yourself, because they really depend on turnovers to help their offense. All right, so the first play, we got Armando. You know, that's a tough pass for NC State, okay? But Armando does a nice job of getting the steal. Now, the good thing is we want to try and score in transition, so Leaky sees that Armando has the ball, so he's going to take off this way. Dayron's going to take off. Kerwin's getting ready to take off. He's going to get the ball to Caleb, and then Caleb gets out on the break, and then hopefully makes a great decision. So everybody's running, which is perfect, okay? And so State has 4 defenders back, which is fine, but Leaky got down the court. He's spacing it, so they got to worry about him a little bit. Kerwin's here, so Caleb has a lot of options. Caleb can drive it and see what the defense does. If he helps, he can throw it there. If somebody else helps, he can maybe throw it back to Kerwin. And then Dayron's doing a nice job of occupying this guy. And then, obviously, Armando is the trail man in any kind of secondary break that might happen. And Caleb got all the way to the basket, scores a layup. He really set the tone by getting out quick. All right, now ball screen defense, like I was talking about. So there's a lot of different ways you can guard the ball screens. Looks like this time, sometimes our big guy is going to hedge out, make the ball go this way, all right? How we were playing it at this time, Dayron's just backed up. And so he's just going to make sure that when he comes off the ball screen, RJ can get back in front of the ball, and then Dayron gets to his man. They're supposed to be communicating. Dayron's supposed to be calling out the screen, so hopefully RJ doesn't get caught up and hit it and then get behind. So Dayron stays with him for a little bit. RJ did get back. So now that's perfect. They didn't hurt us at all. Now they do the same thing. Looks like Dayron should back up maybe just a little bit more if he's not going to hedge out or switch. Later in the game, you'll see that we did some switching. Okay? Leaky's supposed to get over and then Dayron slides back to his man. And what they have to do is communicate. If they're going to switch, do whatever, they have to make sure they are communicating. So now they look pretty confused, okay? And so that's why they get the wide open shot. Dayron didn't know if he's supposed to go anywhere, sort of throws his hands up in the air. And it's confusing. I mean, it's going to happen every single time in the court, so our guys have to be prepared for that, and they were. They did a nice job.
CB, so is that something going into the game that Carolina has a set way they're going to do it, or is that a read from the players out there to say, okay, this time we're doing it this way?
Well, they can change it up a little bit, and there's so many different ways. It's a game plan from the start, okay? And you're going to try it one way. If that's not working, if State's feeling comfortable, then you try something else, like maybe switching, maybe hedging or whatever. But who calls it is the big guy normally, you know. For the most part, that's what it's supposed to do. The guard always knows that they usually have to go over unless they are switching.
CB, Coach Williams has talked a lot at practice the last couple weeks about defensive communication and just talking. What's the value of that in the type of plays that you're talking about?
Well, just there. They would not have got the open shot if Dayron and Leaky, if one of them just would have yelled switch or I'm back or get back to your man. Instead, you saw them, they both went this way and they both went that way. And so State's going to get the open shot when you don't do any kind of communication. But yeah, the good thing about no fans in the stands is you don't have to talk as loud. Because if that's a full gym, you're not going to be able to hear screen right, screen left, switch, get back as easy as you can this day and age. So now we're in the next play. And I can't remember what happened down there, but Dayron is doing a nice job of sprinting, because I remember this is Bates. He's running straight down the middle of the court. Well, Dayron's doing a great job of getting all the way back so they can't pass it right now. Because if Dayron doesn't hustle back, Leaky's going to have to come in here. Well, then Allen with the ball has Beverly over here for a wide open three. Okay? Now, same thing if Manny keeps running and Kerwin has to help. They got Daniels right here for a wide open three. So that's crucial that he hustle back. Now, Armando, I think he fell or something, and you'll eventually see him get back in the play to get that guy. And Dayron does a nice job of coming over, and then Armando hustled back. Obviously, they thought they were going to score a layup, and they did not. Now, here's another ball screen action, okay? And this is a tough place because it's right here on the three-point line. They're coming this way, and NC State's guards do a nice job of coming right off shoulder to shoulder. Garrison's backed up, like we talked about. He's probably on screen left, screen left, screen left. You don't want the guard to get hit, okay? But if they do, they just got to make sure they're communicating. And it looks like Garrison does a nice job of communicating here and just switched it, okay? And so that's perfect. So Anthony Harris got the steal, and then he comes out on the break. And the good news is we got Caleb filling the lane here. We got Garrison filling the lane here. So these two defenders don't know exactly what to do, and eventually Anthony gets all the way to the basket for a layup, and he should have got rewarded because he did a nice job getting that steal.
Anthony Harris.
And that's it. So, I mean, it wasn't perfect. It's never going to be perfect on ball screens, especially when it's every time down court, but as long as they did a nice job communicating, it worked out more often than not.
Adam, there's going to be a test on ball screens coming up soon. I feel like I'm much better prepared to answer those questions right now.
I've been writing down some answers.
Carolina wins it by 10, 86-76, the final score in the Smith Center. Adam, anything else from you, sir?
I thought encouraging how many points came from Carolina's young players. 61 of Carolina's 86 were from freshmen. That's in an ACC game. 76 scored by either freshmen or sophomores. So you didn't get a ton of contributions from the upperclassmen, but man, the young guys are getting better.
Okay, as of now, Carolina's next 3 games are all scheduled on the road. Next weekend was when Carolina originally was supposed to take on Notre Dame here in the Smith Center. That, at the moment, there is no game scheduled. Of course, the Irish came earlier in the year due to a change to the schedule due to COVID. So as of now, Carolina's scheduled to go to Pitt, to Clemson, to Duke for their next 3 games, all on the road. A challenging stretch, certainly, which kind of sets the stage for what is a really challenging final 10, 11 games of the regular season for the Tar Heels. After every home game, we're going to be right here with a Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions presented by Bojangles. And we promise CB will have a sweater vest next time. For CB McGrath, for Adam Lucas, my name's Jones Angell. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Carolina Insider.